So my friend calls me up, says, I'm going to downtown camera, you in? I was like, there's many things I wouldn't mind testing out. He was debating getting a Fuji XS10 for some reason. We'll get to that. Probably not. So like I was like, Nikon 35 and the 51.4? Try those out. Little Fuji GFX 100 Mark II with a 110mm talking head video. Yeah.
All I want is the perfect camera. All I want is the perfect camera.
So we're on the Nikon Z6 Take That Childhood with my ABC song. I'm not changing my brain for you. 40mm Tony 2, glimmer glass of course. And I have Don't Look at Me lighting. No longer is it pointed at me. It's like coming from behind is so dramatic right now. I can't even believe it. So I went to downtown camera. Let's all go to downtown camera tonight. It was really fun. They let me test a bunch of stuff. So I got a bunch of clips we're going to go over. I brought my 24mm 1.4 Canon lens to set the standard of 3D pop in a camera shop. And then I switched on to the 35, the 50, tried the 26 2.8 for vlogging, and then GFX Fuji with the 110mm Tony 2. Could that autofocus? Now the first thing you're going to notice if you buy a Nikon Z6 III is there's no battery charger. Thanks for nothing. How do I do that? So I've been using one battery. Company reaches out to me. This is not a shill tubers. Is there a progress bar? Oh God. Ilano reaches out, dual camera battery charger for Nikon or Sony. They have different ones. I have complaints and suggestions. When you're charging the batteries, you have these two little percentage numbers that you think, okay, it's at 64%, it's going up, okay, it'll be charged soon. But then like it'll drop down by 10 points. You're like, what happened there? So like it's very annoying. I didn't know that a camera battery charger could annoy you, but this one does somehow. If you just ignore it, it'll charge your batteries to 100% eventually, but just don't watch it or you will bleed through your eyes. And it seems to just stay at 100% instead of turning off, which I would prefer. Just go off. You don't need to be on, so you got to unplug it. But then it'll show you. So like decent little charger that ironically doesn't come with a charger. Like it comes and then you're like, how do you charge it? Oh, you just plug your charger into this. Doesn't that defeat the point? Like it should have a plug that plugs in, but it's a USB-C. So, I mean, we all have phone chargers. That's ironic. Here's a charger. Just use your charger to charge the charger. Fuck you. And it comes with terrible batteries that I will never use. They lasted not long enough. All right, first clip. We got the 24mm 1.4 adapted with a Fringer. It's a Canon lens on a Nikon body. And you can see the pop. This is a very poppy lens. I love it. 3D perception. Beautiful. People, oh God, you damn you. This was not easy doing this in the camera shop, but autofocus works great. So this is setting the standard. 24mm, amazing. Now if we do a side-by-side with the 24mm and the 26 2.8 on your right. Okay, now I'm wondering, does this lens have any pop? That's my main concern here. I'm not sure that I'm seeing any. But it's a pancake lens. It's so super light, that thing. Just a bit flat, maybe. I don't know. Not really seeing the pop. I mean, there's better chromatic aberrations, but I like the green highlights around the lamps. I like that. I prefer it, actually. Purple and green for life. You know what I mean? But it's not bad. It's a nice little lens, a good look. It's just so light that, like, you kind of want it. I was thinking that would be your vlogging lens. Would it not? I had the 28mm 2.8, which was okay, but like Nikon Stabe is not anything to write home about. But there that is. It's not terrible. Little jerky moments here and there. That's fine. But that was very light. You could totally do that. That's a lens that you would share with your brother if you had one. I don't have pink eye. You're crazy. Oh, that got a little jerk. But like, that's not bad. Here's a normal walk. Somewhat doable. I could totally see myself getting that lens just for vlogging, but then it would be useless at anything else. Now what I've been debating, since we have the 40mm Tony 2 and I have a 24mm 1.4 already, it would be stupid to get anything else, but Nikon is announcing new modern primes that have a little vintage character to them. 35mm 1.4 and 50 1.4. I tested them both. One is clearly better. So here's the 35mm 1.4, Nikon latching on to the wrong person. And I'm waiting. It tried, it failed, and then it's coming. Okay, that is good. Good performance. I love Nikon. They're very reliable once it gets you. It's just getting you is often a problem. So what I'm seeing here, I'm seeing a nice sharp lens, sharp enough. I know the S 1.8 is sharper, but no one cares about that. Don't look at me, old man. Oh, damn you all. Don't you see I'm in a show here? They're interrupting my show in my studio, and it's bullshit, but whatever. They're extras. They get paid less than I do for this. So, like, pretty good look. It's not, I don't know, I wasn't blown away. I mean, I like my 40mm Tony 2. I should have brought that for this comparison, but if I'm just looking at this, I'm not blown away by it. Excuse me, sir. Hey, do you know that I'm in a show here? Do you have any idea that this is my show, not yours? Okay, so the star is back, and it's an okay lens. I was not blown away. It's like, it's good. It's vintage. It's not good. Could you vlog with it? You kind of can. When you have the Nebula tripod, which is like 18 inches or something, you get it on out there, and it gives you a unique look. It's kind of wide enough. Sony with their super crops and the digital stave is so annoying because, like, you can get a lot of really nice wide primes, but then it turns it into 90mm. But 35, it's like kind of doable, and then you have an amazing street videography lens, and then you can interrupt your friend's business when he was discussing Fuji-related matters for some reason. I ruined his life. What's he doing? He's trying to get a Fuji XS10. XS10? Like, what are we doing here? The 20 has the bigger battery. You can save video modes to the custom dial. You got all your 4K 60, 10-bit in there, maybe a couple film sims, a nostalgic neg. Amazing autofocus. Like, I don't know, I'm debating it as well. I saw a deal. It's not a deal enough, though. He's like, 1,400? I'm like, it ain't worth 12 if it was a foot. The only reason I'm debating getting that is for the Fuji 35mm 1.4. I want to feel the magic of that lens. And so I'm thinking Nikon 50mm 1.4 or the Fuji and that lens. Equivalent somewhat. Let us gaze upon it. So here we have my star of the show. He's on the phone talking to Fuji to see if he can swing a deal. And this rude actor came into the scene and the camera knew best to ignore him. Nikon takes a while to come in, so we're on the 50mm 1.4, new prime just announced, and I'm noticing that it's a better look. It's just, it gives you more separation. It might even have a little more contrast, a little poppier, I think, and it's cheaper. Like, how do you not go for the 50 instead of the 35? Why would you ever get the 35? Because you're impatient. That's why the 35 was announced first, and you're like, oh my god, a 1.4 prime, I'm gonna get it. Not knowing that the 50 was on its way. Am I seeing the pop? I don't know, man. It's no, like, Canon 85 1.2, that's for sure. But it's poppy enough. It is kind of heavy for what it is, 400 grams or something. But it's a native Z mount. It's a decent little lens. I don't know. If we're looking side by side with the 35 and the 50, these are your two. Modern, they're the only 1.4 primes. You only have 1.8s and 1.2s otherwise. I do feel the 1.4s are going to be better for the face than the 1.8s. But like, they're very similar looks actually now that I'm seeing them side by side. But there's a little more separation on that 50. Now, I don't mean to alarm you, but I did manage to test the 135 Plena lens. It has golden writing on the side, and people are thinking it's the best lens ever made. It's Plena. Come on. It's expensive and heavy. I said that weird. Let me forewarn you that it is a flat rendering that will be decent if you like flat 2D sex. So, It reminds me of a question before we get to that footage. My A6300, 18 to 30, wow, 135 will shortly be replaced. Good. A7S III, nice. Get the ZVE1 inset. 135mm prime, but which one? Initially considering Sony's 1.8 G Master, but also Zeiss 2.8. Be wanting the pop. Have you ever tried the latter? P.S. Need your rations? Shut up. So, he's debating 135. I must forewarn you, I don't have a certain lens that's not allowed to be talked about. Christopher Frost talked about it early, didn't he? And he was slapped on the wrist, I believe. So there's that one. There's the Samyang. I gotta be honest with you, I'm not a fan. I've tested many Samyang lenses and never been blown away once. There's only so many chances you get in the Samyang universe to impress me. Doubt that. I know it's sharp, but people love it. It's lighter than the other mysterious lens that I definitely don't have and haven't reviewed. You're crazy. G Master, no. Zeiss. You mentioned Zeiss and you actually thought there was another option. What are you doing? Of course it's the Zeiss. That's your thing. Unless the Samyang is good enough for you. That's pretty cheap, but come on now. Zeiss pop. If only you were in the Plena universe. That guy tried to... Oh, damn you. Straight to hell. No, not the other guy in the back. There's 3 men in this scene. 1 is important. 2 are just people who are wasting money in a shop. They're pretending they have jobs. It's not right. Plena 135mm. You're still in my scene, sir. You do really... Oh, God, you invited your daughter. That's... Oh, man. I'm trying to make a show here. So, this is the flattest lens I've ever seen in my life. And it cost the most money. And Nikon rudely lied to us when they said something about, like, this lens, we designed it to have a 3D rendering. You know what? That's a lie. It is a lie and a half. There's zero pop or contrast. I don't know why it looks kind of, like, soft. I have no idea if I'd, like, touched the front element or something, but it's a 2D rendering for, like, Zelda and Minecraft enthusiasts. But if you get away there, you would think this is the ultimate thing ever. I'm not impressed. I would much rather have my Canon 85mm 1.2. And it's just not great. Like, you can... Oh, God. Damn you, rude people. If you just look any lens up and then type flicker, you can see the images, and you'll get a bunch of terrible stuff with the Nikon Plena. It's a flattering look for some, if you don't have pink eye, but I did. And I still do. Let me just show you a quick example. I went through the Nikon Z DP review forums by mistake somehow, and somebody was like, Plena lens. And I was like, clicking on his pictures, and I was like, I would just wanted to see and laugh at him because he spent money and he has no pop, and it's disgusting. Whereas I have a Canon 135mm that would destroy him. Here's a little example. So right now we're zoomed in. Do you notice something? How flat this is. When we zoom out, you're gonna laugh. So notice, like, okay, it's left to right. You cannot see any depth, like which direction, which side is like going further away. Boom. Can you believe this? Like, doesn't that, you can't even tell that was much further away. Like, it looks straight across the frame. So, like, when you zoom into something and you cannot tell where you are, that's the definition of a 2D lens with no pop. Oh, he just tried to take a photo and he was arrested because it was a crime scene and they had to know how far away the murder weapon was, and he took a picture with the Zeiss Plena lens, and they now can't solve the crime because there's no details in the 3D depth mapping. Here's an interesting comparison. Same lens on each system. I had both lenses. TT Artisan sent them both to me. I tried to copy the Nikon LUT to Sony. I did everything where I changed S-Log to N-Log and then put the Nikon N-Log to red LUT on. And so they both have that, but they're very different looking for some reason. They're both in auto white balance, so that probably ruined our lives, but it was window lighting. What do you want me to do? Come on. I don't know. I kind of prefer the Sony look somehow. I don't know. A decent little look. More accurate for sure. Very warm on the Nikon, but it's raw, so you can adjust it. Oh, wow. Neither man has pink eye in this particular situation, thankfully. So he's just a good-looking guy there. Which brings us to the boss battle, my friend. I got a question. What's the worst setup for the most amount of money? I might have found it. Now, be real with yourself. This is the best image I've ever seen in my life. This is the Fuji GFX 100 Mark II with the 110mm Tony 2. Autofocusing. That was in the Reala Ace profile. I went through the menu. I know Fuji pretty well, so we're doing dynamic range 400 and Reala Ace 4K ProRes Lite 10 bits. I did not do 8K, no thank you. That was just so sharp and glorious. I couldn't believe it. It's just so expensive. So like the worst setup? Not really until you see the autofocus performance. So I had my friend film me. He pressed record and autofocus. We could not see the box on the screen for some reason. I don't know how to turn that on. But here we have it. This was one of my dream setups. Oh God, another actor just taking a break. Come on, Simming, piece of shit. That guy just bought the Pentax 17. We talked to him. He's pretty cool. So here we have it. Beautiful so far. Autofocus totally usable until now. Never again will I be in focus. I was like, it has me? He's like, no, it doesn't. I was like, come on. I wanted to see the 3D pops so bad. Just get me, Fuji. It's just the worst autofocus ever. And then they're going to release a firmware update to make it worse. Oh, you can't win. So I decided to destroy the whole... Oh, that's frowned upon in the camera store, so don't do it. Eventually, it did reacquire me, but not at the speed I wished. But those Fuji colors, Reala Ace, not bad. Not bad. Oh, God, like half a second of that was in focus. And like whenever it does catch up, it never catches up fast enough. This whole thing is out of focus. What are you doing? Damn you straight to hell. I should have just stayed in one spot. I'm overexposed. I hate you. I was going to buy that setup just for talking in nature videos. I figured that would be the ultimate end game. That's medium format, bigger than full frame. And then that lens is supposed to have some pop. I do believe it does. Fuji's good at making the pop. But that performance, and no flippy screen, for how much money? A lot. Now, I didn't want to leave that store with that being my only shot, so I was like, okay, manual focus on me, okay? I trust you. I trust you, Discovery camera. He's like, yep, okay, got it. I'm like, okay, I'm in? You're sure, right? Okay, so now we're testing the... Not 1 second of this whole damn clip was in focus. I move, he's like adjusting. Adjusting to what, my friend? What are we focusing on? Oh, not one thing in the frame is in focus. Not the foreground, not the back. That guy's hand, maybe. But I'm somehow out. I met him. His name was Larry. He bought a Ricoh. Not 1 second, man. Oh, God. Why? I hate you. I'm unsubbing from Discovery Camera because we obviously can't trust him. So what did we learn today? In the Nikon universe, if it's just me, we're making Nikon videos here. This 40mm Tony 2 is a sleeper lens. I was thinking, could the 35 or the 50 replace this? I'm not so sure it could, but I do believe I might get the 50mm if I can see a good deal on it. And then we see, because then 40mm 22 versus 51.4, that's more my style here. So like I would prefer having it, but it's much heavier. This isn't a sleeper lens, man. You can't beat this thing. But for talking head videos, I think I prefer the Canon 24mm. It's lost forever. But more and more, I'm just starting to appreciate what I have. It's better than most things out there, and the old me is still addicted to looking for gear and finding it and testing it and doing all that. But like mostly I'm just trying to sell off most of the stuff that I don't use. And so I just have a very minor amount. I'm not too heavily invested in one system. I just like having a couple lenses for each. And I kind of want each system, just the best lens for that system. Boom. So Fuji XS20 with the 35mm 1.4. And we've got Sony ZV-E1 with the 18mm Batis Zeiss for vlogging, and then 55mm Zeiss for the slow motion street videography. Boom, those are two setups. Canon lenses on the Nikon. Boom. But what setup do you think won today's battle? Did the 35 outperform my 24? Go home. 50 better than the 35? Was the 26mm 2.8 worth getting in your opinion? Did the Fuji win our hearts with the best autofocusing performance, Olympic level? And did your battery charger come in your giant package with way too much waste? What the hell is all this? It came with so much, I was like, it's just a little charger, man. Should be an orange light while charging and then off when it's done. It's cool that you can just press it and see, oh, that one's at 100, this is 100, oh, cool. And this one's at 19% after making one video. That's awesome. So like the batteries suck, charger's good, affiliate links down below. For everything I test. You buy each one. I'll leave after you donate Bitcoin and buy a shirt down in the shop. How you doing? You subscribing for more now, Santa?